You guys, it's here. Welcome back, everyone. So as you can see, I got my Hobonichi 2024 order in the mail. It is so unexpected that it arrived when it did. When I tell you, I stepped out of my front door and was like, what is this box? I did get a shipping notification fairly quickly from the Hobonichi website. I did order on launch day or evening due to the time change. I was able to order the evening before US time. And I don't feel like I was there within the first few minutes. There were things that I missed out on. They just sold out so quickly. But I got the shipping notification and thought easily it's going to be 2 more weeks before I got it. And just a couple of days later, here it is. I am in shock. I am pleasantly surprised, and I cannot wait to share with you guys what I purchased from Hobonichi for 2024. Okay, so here's the box. Not gonna lie, this isn't exactly the box that my stuff came in. I did a group order with my friends so that we could get the free shipping. In my personal opinion, I think that that is the best way to go. Sure, you can order from places like Amazon and JetPens, but they're gonna mark up the price of the planner to cover that shipping cost. So if you have a group of friends that you can get to that $250 threshold, the shipping is free. And as you can see, the shipping was fast. All right, let's open up the box. Okay, so let's talk about the freebie first of all. So this is the color of it's the Hobonichi pen, but it reminds me of a Uniball Jetstream. Anyway, this is the color this year. Here is what I was fascinated by, is that they sent a pen for every planner that we ordered. And I seriously thought when I was talking to my friends that this was going to be a situation where we just got one pen and it was going to be like, who really wants the pen? You know, honestly, I just moved, so I can't find last year's pen, but I don't always use these. I'll use these more for work. But now I have 4. But it is this beautiful, almost like a dusty blue / sage green kind of sort of. It's a multi-pen. It's got like a brown grip to it down there towards the end. It does have some like yellow lettering on it with the Hobonichi Techo 2024. You do get a black ink, blue ink, red ink, and that's about it. I don't think you get a pencil with this one. So that would be the difference between this and the Uniball Jetstream. And I do believe it is refillable if you would like. I would probably change it all out to black ink because that's personally what I love. So I did get a bunch of these, and full disclaimer, I have an order from JetPens coming because I'll explain everything in a minute. All right, so that is the freebie pen that you got for 2024. Let's jump right into what I got. I got quite a few things. Because people kept sharing their ideas, like, this is my story and I'm sticking to it. People kept sharing their ideas and I was like, oh my God, yes. Oh my God, yes. Like, that's perfect. And I am easily enabled, very easily enabled. Okay, so let's start with this one because this is the reason why I have a JetPens order coming. So I got the A6 day free. Honestly, it was an accident. I meant to get the A5, went and looked back at our order and I was like, oh, I grabbed the A6. I don't even have an A6 cover. And so that's what led me the next morning to go to JetPens to grab a cover and a couple more items. And there will be another video for that. So definitely stay tuned. So I grabbed the A6 day free from Hobonichi, and let's just open this up. I haven't opened a single thing with the exception of one of my weeks because of the packaging that it was in, but here it is. And I am thinking of creating something for content. So this is in the A6 size, and you can see the difference, like A5 to A6 huge difference, huge difference. So in the day free, we're just gonna kind of have to break open this spine here. Of course, with all the planners, you have the beautiful Tomoe River paper. You're going to get your year at a glance for 2024, 23, and 25. And that is perfect for everything that I need. And then you're going to get the sort of vertical year at a glance. This is great for habit tracking, for maybe marking where you wrote certain notes in your planner. It's really up to you. There's a lot of different ways that you can use this vertical year at a glance. And I believe that this one is technically the Japanese version, but you will notice that months are written in Japanese and in English, so still super easy to navigate all of these pages. So one of the fun things about this is that even though it is a 2024 planner, I can jump right into this in December. And it is a Monday start, so you can have Monday through Wednesday on this half, Thursday through Sunday on the other half, a grid area at the top, and a little bit of a grid area that will vary in size depending on how the month ends. But this is like such a cute size. So you get all of your months up at the front, which I love. And then the unique thing about this book is that you're not going to get any sort of weekly views. I'm just going to jump forward. You're not going to get any weekly views. It's going to go straight to just a bunch of dot grid pages. So I thought that this would be, I think it was Tailored Plans who had talked about this, was getting the day free. I don't know if she meant A6, but I kind of like the idea of an A6 for content and just notes and things like that. But you do get a total of, let's go to the back here, 171 graph pages. At the bottom, there is some space taken up by the quotes that are written in Japanese, but I think that this is still plenty of space. That is a lot of notes pages. They are numbered for you right here at the bottom of the grid. After the grid, you're going to get a timetable, an area where you can use as a graph for tracking whatever your heart desires, a favorites area. I know a lot of people just cover up these pages. I usually forget that they're back here, to be quite honest. Then you also have your 100 list. This is also great to just do like a day of gratitude. But also you don't have 365 days, so you kind of can't do that, but you could still just do pen tests back here if you wish. Speaking of pen tests, I'm going to do a separate video on that one. Last year I kept a pen test page in this Hobonichi notebook, and I would do a no wait, 5-second, 10-second, and 30-second wait. But now that the paper is different or upgraded to their new Tomoe River paper, I'm going to have to start this all over again. So stay tuned for that as well. So after the 100, you're going to have some pages back here that you can pretty much use for whatever. And I cannot read Japanese, so I'm not even going to pretend that I know what these pages say. But again, I think that you could easily put stickers over this and put whatever you want in here. Same with these pages if you want to cover them up, if you don't want to cover them up, things like that. And then that's where the book ends. So when I went to the JetPens website, I did grab another A6 planner and I believe a notebook and a cover. So I cannot wait to share that setup with you guys, but I don't have everything just yet. So that is the A6 day free from Hobonichi. Now let's move on to the week's planners. I am so excited about the weeks. This is my current Hobonichi weeks that I actually just jumped back into, but I'm not going to share the pages because I'm using it as a spending log. But here were some of my previous pages in here. I mean, this thing was like, it would go everywhere with me. I did everything in this planner. So right now I've just jumped back into it to use it for tracking some daily miscellaneous spending because, you know, sometimes things get out of hand and it's great to have a little place to just write it down and hold myself a little bit more accountable, because I feel like if I'm writing it down, I'm more aware of where I'm at with my spending, or at least I think I will be, right? So I grabbed 2 weeks for this year. Don't ask me why. I'm not exactly sure, other than the fact that the covers that they offered this year from Hobonichi, they knocked it out of the park. So the first one that I grabbed, and I do apologize in advance if I butcher this name, but I'm trying my absolute best, but it is the Tomitaro Makino cover, and it's like a soft cover. I did get a Monday Start English. This is so beautiful. So beautiful. One of my biggest gripes with Hobonichi, with the weeks, is that they don't offer a lot of really beautiful colors in the weeks covers, or they'll offer pretty colors in the regular weeks but not pretty colors in the mega weeks. I really thought when I was getting ready to place my order that I was going to get one mega and one regular weeks. Well, there were just two covers that I just knew that I was not going to pass up, and this was one of them. So I hope you can see kind of the silver foiling there, but it does say 2024. The back, it's kind of interesting. The artwork stops about a quarter of the way through, and then you just have this beautiful cream color back here. It is gorgeous. If you're not new to Hobonichi, this part might be boring for you. So one of the biggest gripes with Hobonichi is the difference in color of paper for the weeks versus their other planners. It is a little bit more of a cream color, but from my understanding is that the weeks is meant to be an on-the-go planner, so the tone of the paper is different to reduce strain on the eyes and make it easier to see when you're out in bright light or sunny areas. So when you use a Hobonichi Weeks over time, you notice the yellowness of the paper less and less. I promise you this so much. But like most of their planners, you do get the year at a glance with 2024, 23, and 25. You also get the vertical year at a glance. Obviously, it's a little bit more condensed. I loved using this for all of my medical things. So doctor's appointments, medication changes. This way I had it like all at once. But it was a really great thing to have in my bag when I would go to my doctor's office and they would ask, when did I start this? As you guys may or may not know, I recently moved, and this was really helpful to have with me to be able to give them starting and stopping points for different medications and things like that, because I just have a slew of issues. I'm a cancer survivor. I've got cardiac issues, all kinds of things. So it's a lot to keep up with. So this planner also starts in December. It is a Monday start, so month on 2 pages, again with the grid on the left and grid space across the bottom. The months are all together. This is something that I've gotten used to. When I first joined the planner community, I just could not handle planners with all the months up at the front. I just was not a huge fan of it. And now that I've kind of crossed over to using more Hobonichi style planners, it doesn't bother me one bit. So you can see it actually starts the last week of November. So November 27th would be the start, which feels like right around the corner. But that would be the first starting week in this planner. The quotes at the bottom are in English. Again, not something I ever pay attention to, so honestly, it just didn't really matter to me which one I ordered. But it is a horizontal weekly on the left, and then a full grid page on the right. And that's how every week is going to be. Like I said, the months are not dispersed throughout the week, so it's just gonna be week after week. You do get a nice little mini calendar to tell you where you are in the month, so that does help in a way. And then when you get towards the back, because I did not, oh, there's a cute little card from the artist, which is really fun. I like to keep these, and you do get a little adhesive pocket. When you get towards the end of all of the weeks of your planner, you do get this notes area section and an area for useful abbreviations if you choose to use those. Last year, what I did was I actually covered it with like this vellum sort of vision board type of thing, and I really liked that. We'll probably do the same thing, just kind of, I don't know, a lot of these visions look exactly like where I'm at right now, so not much will change, but that's what I did with that page. And then you just have dot grid pages. Now in the regular weeks, you will get, how many are there? It's like 72, 73 grid pages. It's actually quite a bit. Now, if you want to use your book to include dailies in the back, you might want to consider getting a week's. This does come with ribbon page markers as well. They're hiding in here somewhere and my little cards are falling out. I'm trying to find it. It's like really in there. There we go. So you do get 2 ribbon page markers, which is pretty awesome. You can keep one on your month and one on your current week. So that is the first weeks that I ordered. And then of course I saw the olive green and I was like, immediately yes, get in the cart. And I loved the packaging that it came in, and I lied. I did open this before I filmed, but that's because I saw the packaging and I was like, oh my gosh, that is so cute that they put it in its own type of packaging. And I'm gonna have to find a way to save it because I'm sentimental like that. But this week's, you guys, is beautiful. Let me get it out for you. Okay, so here it is. This is the olive green. It's showing up fairly true to color through my viewfinder there, and it is just the most glorious. Now, it is not I believe it's the leather covers that have a really difficult time staying flat. This is, I believe, just the soft cover. So you can see I didn't have to do a whole lot there, and it does stay flat open. And I meant to show that with this other book as well. You don't have to do a whole lot to keep it open on your desk. I believe if you get the leather versions, that's where you're going to run into problems. I have never personally purchased a leather version, so I can't really speak on too much of that. So more about this beautiful cover. It does have the gold foil 2024. This is gonna be tough. The insides are pretty much the same. Pretty much, they are the same. They're exactly the same. But I think that this might be the one, like the weeks that I actually use. This is just stunning, stunning. The big difference here is just the color of the ribbon page markers. I do believe they coordinate with the planner themselves. So there's like this beautiful cream color and an olive green color. Everything else is exactly the same. The year at a glance, it's literally just the cover. And of course, because this isn't a like artist series, you're just gonna get the little life book pamphlet and the little adhesive sticker. Oh my gosh, this is beautiful. This is gonna be a really tough choice. It's gonna be really, really hard, but I'm glad that I grabbed both of these. I'm sure that I can find uses for both, but as far as for, you know, week in, week out planning, it's probably going to be the olive. Oh my God. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so for my fourth and final planner, it should come as no surprise that I did grab a Hobonichi Cousin. I did get the Monday Start English version. This will be my third Hobonichi. Here are my 2 previous ones. Here's my Spring Start 2022, and then my regular start 2023 that I am currently in, and she's getting pretty thick. Not as thick as a lot of people's, but it's good for me. All right, so let's get this planner open. Okay, so here it is. This is my 2024 Hobonichi Techo. I am so excited about this. I did get the English Cousin. I believe this one is an English Cousin, and my Spring Start one is not. I believe Spring Start has never been an option in the English version, but I am just excited for this to be my third year in this book. So if you're not familiar with the Hobonichi Cousin, it is an A5 planner. You can literally plan everything in here. It is their book that has yearly, monthly, weekly, and dated daily pages for you. So you could literally, if you are a one planner person, this is going to be the planner for you. All right, so let's open it up. So I don't think that anything in here really changed except for the new Tomoe River paper. So you have like this sort of cream paper here. You've got the title page with the Hobonichi Techo 2024 Cousin. And then you've got the year at a glance. Now, just for comparison, this is how the year at a glance looks in the Hobonichi weeks, so significantly smaller. And then when we open up the A6, this is how it's going to look in the A6. So as far as the year at a glance spreads, when you get to like the page with 2 years on it, the weeks and the A6 are pretty much the same size, but you're gonna get something that's a little bit easier on the eyes in the A5 Cousin. And you can also see here the difference in paper color with the A6, the Cousin, and the weeks being that more yellow cream color Tomoe River paper. And then when we get to the vertical months, this is how it's going to look in the Cousin. So definitely more breathing room, more writing room, whereas the weeks is definitely going to be far more condensed. I feel like the A6 is just the baby version of the Hobonichi Cousin, where you're still gonna get columns that are very similar in width because they only put 2 months per page, which is something to definitely consider. So I do believe the months are actually the same width. Because of that, they're able to fit 3 on A5 and 2 in the A6. So you're really not going to lose a whole lot of space here. What you won't have is this bottom grid area for any sort of note taking if you needed that. All right, so after the vertical months, you're gonna get the month on 2 pages. This is a Monday start. Everything is grid. You're gonna have grid on the outside of the boxes as well. A lot of people don't like that there's red in the boxes for Sunday and any holidays, but it's the same way even in the A6 and the same way in the weeks as well. So I mean, it's just going to really depend on a lot of personal preference, the amount of space that you're going to need, the color of the paper, if that's a factor for you. So I know that the Cousin, it's the big reason why people choose the Cousin is because of the size and the ability to write in it. Some people can't write very small. Just like the other planners, all the months are together. And then when we get into the weeks of the planner, it actually starts in December, I believe. I'm gonna actually go back one more page. Actually, this book starts promptly on January 1st. So this one you really cannot start any earlier, but the months do go all the way to March of 2025, which is kind of nice because you can have those extra 3 months to plan ahead if you'd like. So essentially the week on 2-page view is hourly. It does go from 5 a.m. all the way to 4 a.m. So it does pass midnight and go into the next day if you need that many hours. I'm not someone that needs that many hours in my planner, but I still love this layout nonetheless. You get a nice little spot up at the top to put like habits, weather, paydays, anything that you really need in your planner. You're going to get plenty of space for it, and you get a little month view along with what week you're in for the month. And then that is how all of the weeks are going to look in this planner. One of the things I should mention is that you kind of can see where the months are in the book for the daily pages. And so once you get right about to the end of December, it kind of helps you find where you're at. That is where your daily pages will begin. And one of the pages that I do love is after the week's end, you get this really nice graph, like 2 pages of graph paper that says turning the page to a new year. This past year, I got this really cool idea from my friend Cynthia. And on this page, I did a 2022 year in review for my 2023 cousin, and I will probably do the same thing along with just a little page for intention and a title page and all of that stuff for January. So I'll probably do the same thing in this planner this year. Okay, and then here are the daily pages. And this is where things can get a little bit intimidating, but if you can fill up a daily page in the Hobonichi Cousin, then this is gonna be the perfect planner for you. But I think it's important to remember that you don't have to fill up the entire page. It does have hours in here for you. It says 6 to 3, but I think you can kind of decide if that's AM, whatever hours you want. I don't really follow those hours. Lately, I've been doing something a little bit different in my daily pages where it's like, let's see, where I'm using like the left side to sort of break up my day by work, tasks, and then business, and then priorities over here, and a little journaling space over here. So it's pretty easy to fill it up once you figure out how or what format you want to use. Again, you do get a day per page, so it's an entire year of daily pages. Another thing that I've heard some criticism about is the color on the page. So it will match the number over here on the right for the page marker. So January is kind of like this rust color, and so will the grid on the page. It will be that color as well. So when you get to February, it's this brown color. Everything on the page is brown. When you get to March, everything is purple. Now, it's not an in-your-face purple, but nonetheless, it's still purple. When you get to April, it's sort of this mauve pink color. My favorite is May, which is this beautiful olive green, in case you can't tell. I really love green. And then June is this more of like a teal color. Again, you don't really notice it until someone points it out. I was literally 3 months into my first Hobonichi Cousin, and someone was like, I don't like the color on the page. And I was like, what are you talking about? And I went back and I was like, oh my gosh, it's like right there, only I didn't see it. September is sort of this brown color as well. Again, October is purple, and the colors just kind of rotate on through. November is this kind of greenish color, and then December is this sort of rusty red color. And then you're gonna get the same like notes pages in the back. Now for actual notes pages, you're really only getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 notes pages in this book. I know for a book that's literally for a whole year, you're like 5 notes pages, but really you have actually 365 notes pages. So everyone just calm down. I just think you have more than enough notes pages. One of the things that I've liked doing is if I skip a day of planning, I make it a notes page, and then I go back up to the front of my book to index it so that I can know where that page is at. So you do have a timetable, so it's very similar to the A6. Let me get to the back of this planner. This one has like a little mini version of the timetable, whereas here you could ultimately create 2 schedules. You're really only getting space for 1 schedule in the A6. And then the next page, you're going to have the graph paper. So very much so just like the A6 planner. And then you're gonna have a favorites page. Whereas the A6 had several pages of favorites, you only get 1 page of favorites for the Hobonichi Cousin, and then it jumps right into the My 100 page, and then you're going to get 1 page of this, which since this one's in English, now I know what this one says. So this is an interview with myself, and it says that this is a section for thinking about you. Fill in the answers and read them over and over again once in a while, and maybe you'll discover something new about yourself. So what's really cool about this is that it's like the first one says the one thing I'm determined to do in 2024 is, the one thing I won't do this year is, the one person I want to meet is. So really cool prompts in here. And if it's not enough space for you, go back to your daily page, take that prompt and put it over in one of your daily pages. Super, super easy. And then you've got an area for seasonal sweets to make at home, which is awesome because I had no idea what these pages said, and I believe that it is the same exact thing based on the clues of just looking at the drawings and things like that, which is really cool because now I have a way to interpret what those pages say. So that's pretty cool. One of my favorite pages in the back of the Hobonichi Cousin that I did not use this past year that I definitely want to try using is the 365 days checkoff sheet. You could literally use this for anything, a savings tracker, a huge habit tracker. Maybe you want to track the number of times a year that you work out, or the number of days of the year that you go without spending any money, or things like that. But this is a really cool page, and I always forget that it exists back here in my planner, and I'm determined to use it this year as soon as I figure out what I'm going to use it for. All right, guys, that is everything from my 2024 Hobonichi order from launch this year. I hope that you guys enjoyed the walkthrough of everything that I ordered, and I can't wait to hear down in the comments if you ordered anything or if you are thinking of ordering anything. These planners don't start for quite some time, so there's still plenty of time to grab one for yourself. And again, stay tuned. I will be doing an updated pen test video as well as another video going over the additional items that I ordered from launch from over at Jet Pens. If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you're already subscribed, make sure you click that notification bell so that you know when my videos are posted here on YouTube. As always, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.